We're back with another episode. We're back with another episode of Britt Says. And yeah, I'm back this week. What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? This week was good, you know. I had family come over, I had my cousin come over, I had my friend Jamil come over, chill, eat, chit chat. That was it for the week. What did I do during the week though? I think I was just mad chill like during the week. Like I don't think I did much during the week. Anything interesting happen? I'm trying to see. I'm about to sit back. I don't know. Like what's going on in the world these days? Something funny did happen this week. So when I was in high school, right? Remember MySpace? Shout out to MySpace days. MySpace was lit. So you know on MySpace you used to have a poppin' name, poppin' song on your page, poppin' background, everything poppin'. So I used to pick, you know, my favorite song to put on my MySpace page or whatever. Like whatever my favorite song was at the time, or if I liked the beat or whatever. So my cousin hit me up on my freaking phone or whatever, and she like, yo, remember that time when you was in high school and you made your name on MySpace, Promiscuous Girl? Yo, that shit had me so fucking weak because I was definitely thinking about that shit the other day. So basically, the song on my page was obviously Promiscuous Girl by Nelly Furtado featuring Timbaland. I don't know if y'all remember that song. That song was that lit. And I didn't know what promiscuous mean. I looked up when that song came out. It came out in 2006. So I was definitely only 14. I didn't think nothing about Googling words. And then my thing is like, Nelly Furtado just had a song called Fly Like a Bird or some shit. Like you doing inspirational shit, then you gonna come up with a song called Promiscuous Girl. Like I thought like either way this song probably mean ambitious. I mean promiscuous probably mean ambitious, vibey girl. Like I don't know what promiscuous meant. I didn't think it meant a hoe, a girl who just like, you know. And I definitely was not like that at 14. No shade to the girls that was. This is getting problematic. But yeah, that shit had me weak. Then I played the song Promiscuous Girl. So my name said Britt Breezy because I used to call myself Britt Breezy in high school. So it said Britt Breezy Promiscuous Girl. Like my full name on MySpace was Promiscuous Girl. Then one of my older cousins had came up to me and she was like, do you know, first of all, my family, all they do is this. So it had hit the streets like, oh, Brittany got her name on MySpace as Promiscuous Girl, da-da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, I'm just lit. Like, I don't know nothing what the fuck this word means. Like, I know little of what that fucking word means. I just thought the beat went mad hard. I thought the song was cute. And I made it my name on freaking MySpace. Then my older cousin came up to me and she was like, do you know what that word means? Promiscuous? And I'm like, nah, I don't. Like, I don't. I'm assuming it means some fly shit. Like, how the fuck she gonna come out with a song called Fly Like a Bird and come out with a song called Ho Girl? Like, stop it. And she was like, that's a girl who's fast and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, great. Now I gotta freaking change my name on freaking MySpace. And now everybody thought I was a hoe for about a week or a weekend or a couple of days. I don't remember because I used to go to the Bronx on the weekend. So I don't know when I put that name as my freaking, you know, name on MySpace or whatever the case may be. And they need to be fucking held accountable. We need to hold Nelly Furtado and Timbaland accountable for coming out with that song Promiscuous Girl. Why the fuck Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion get in trouble for coming out with WAP? Okay, WAP was a bit much, but at least WAP is straight to the point. Like that shit is called WAP. As soon as the song starts, she say 7 days a week. Something freaking week, 7 days a week. Make that whole out game week. Hey, because I hit a beat in my head. Like, at least the song is straight to the point. Promiscuous Girl is not straight to the point. And you got me in trouble. So y'all too, Nelly Furtado and Timbaland, y'all need to be held accountable for putting out home music. For me, for 14-year-olds. Okay? But that song went hard because I ended up playing it. I ain't gonna play the song for, you know, monetization reasons, but that song, child, it was like doom 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 doom, the beat. And I was so young because I remember, like, I think even too, because sometimes I would switch my name, or like, you know how in the bio you could put like a quote or whatever, so I'll put a quote from the song, and I was like, have you looking for me in the daytime with a light? Because when she said that, and that freaking quote is mad old school. Like, old people say that, like, girl, you gonna have me looking for you in the daytime with a light. Like, that verse, that quote is mad old school, but I wasn't privy to that. And then I remember too, she said something about chivalry is dead, or something about chivalry. I didn't even know what that means, but I liked the line she said with it. So it was just young, dumb bullshit. So now we Google everything. In 2006, I don't think we was just like Googling everything, because we didn't even have smartphones yet. So it wasn't like, let me Google. Like, you just went with the flow. But yeah, that was a funny story. Good days, man. Good days. High school. What can you do? What we gonna do? Ciao. But episode 2, season 4. And this episode is called, Can You Show Some Emotion? And this is about, like, how to deal with non-emotional people. Like, you know how you got the friend that don't want to give hugs, that don't want to say I miss you, that don't say I love you, or, you know, the boyfriend or the husband or whoever you dating, they're not emotional. Maybe even like your parents, your siblings, whoever, like your cousins, your people that you're family with. And it could be, depending on like what's going on in your life, it could be a lot when somebody isn't emotional. I'm drinking tea now. We'll talk. We'll chat. It could be a lot when someone isn't emotional, because I don't know, like, over time, I feel like we start to overthink, like, what that person means to us. And sometimes we need them to be emotional and they don't want to be emotional at a certain time. And just depending on the type of person you are, it might hurt you that whomever you wanted a hug from don't want to give you a hug. Whoever you wanted some emotion from don't want to be emotional, you know. But you can't really control how people react to things and things like that. So I don't know. I just thought it was a good episode idea. So, you know, before every topic, we like to expand our minds. Expand your mind, expand your mind, expand your mind. So, let's jump into it. An article titled How to Cope with Someone Who is Emotionally Unavailable, written by Aisha Boa, she writes, although vulnerability has its rewards, when you're dealing with someone who doesn't reciprocate these feelings, it could seem like a losing game. It can leave the emotionally available person feeling quite lonely, invalidated, and even rejected. Robertson Brown says, moreover, it can lead to feelings of depression, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. That can, in turn, leave us feeling resentful, either of ourselves or the person we're interacting with. It's important to keep in mind that despite what your inner critic may be saying, another person's emotional unavailability isn't your fault. So, emotional unavailability. Why do some people find emotionally unattached people so upsetting? I feel like, all right, what emotions and stuff like that, you can't tell somebody how to obviously, you know, use their emotions. I don't even like saying that, use their emotions, but or how to be emotional. And I think it hurts people because I don't know, like, you can't, just because you cry, you can't expect another person to cry. You know what I'm saying? I think emotionally detached people are hurtful because sometimes, like, things just happen and they're kind of like, it don't even have to be like they seem chill. They're just being nonchalant. They're not being nonchalant. They're just coping differently. And sometimes we don't want that. Like, we want emotion. Like, if I'm being emotional, I want you to be emotional. But, you know, when you say it aloud, it doesn't sound fair. At least for me. I don't know if when you guys hear it, it sounds normal, but it's hurtful. It's hurtful. Or even if it's just anything, like a person that when you see them, they don't hug you or stuff. I'm like that. Like in certain situations, like my family, speaking of like my cousins, like I always get flack for giving a church hug, as they call it. They call it a church hug. I don't know. I'm not like a hugger. Like some people give hugs, like they can hug you and it's just like, you know, I'm weird with hugs too. Well, I was always weird with hugs even before that incident. But I remember a friend of mine had passed when we were young, like in high school actually. Why is this episode like just tying in so perfectly? In high school, he was 18, and I remember the last time I had seen him, he had gave such a strong hug, and it was weird because it's like a hug, like a good hug, you notice it. It was weird because he never really hugs like that. Like it usually like a regular hug. Like it was just like this tight hold, and it just reminded me like then after that happened or whatever the case may be, he passed. He wasn't somebody who was sick. I don't want to get into that, but yeah, it was just like weird. And I remember being like, dang, that was a good hug. I didn't say it aloud. I said it in my head when he gave me the hug. So that's another thing. So I'm weird with goodbyes. But then some people are a certain way where they like always give a good hug. Always make sure you give a good kiss to because you never know when's your last day. So some people believe the opposite. Like you should always give a really good hug or a good kiss or whatever the case may be. A good goodbye, as I should say. Because you never really know when you may not see that person again. And then as other people who like kind of like really ritually, like not ritually, I can't think of the word, like I hate when I can't think of a word, but those type of people who are very like be careful with that, like don't give such a strong hug or say, some people don't even believe in saying goodbye. You know that? I try to be like that, but it's hard because goodbye is such a common word you say when it's literally called goodbye. Like it's no, you know, some people don't even believe in saying that. They say see you later because they're going to let you know like I'm going to see you again. We're going to see each other. Like ain't shit going to happen. Goodbye seems very permanent. So it's interesting. It's very interesting how we all, you know, perceive being emotional. See, because emotions can actually be attached, and often sometimes it is culturally, spiritually it can be attached too, because sometimes how we show our emotions ties in with our beliefs, like little things like that. Like I'm not hugging you mad hard because we feel like this is our last hug or something. Or some people tie in hugs with goodbyes, when a hug could mean anything. A hug is just like you need a hug, like you having a rough day, you having a rough week, something sad happened. Like a hug doesn't mean goodbye all the time, but some people correlate those things, tie those things together, and that's why they're not emotional. And of course some of these things relate to how you are raised and all those good things. Can someone out of nowhere become emotionally unavailable, and is that a sign that you did something? I think so, definitely. Yeah, people do that all the time. Like they'll just be like, especially if you're not showing emotion, they're like, I'm about to stop being mad extra emotional, like, or not even extra emotional, just start being there for you because you're not there for me. And it could be a sign that you potentially did something. Yeah, definitely. Whenever people are one way and then they stop being that one way, something clearly happened. Whenever people usually do that, like something definitely most likely had happened between you and that person. Yeah, most likely. And how do we perceive emotions anyway? Like what is being emotional? When do we have to be emotional? What is emotion? Because some people could say, some people sometimes tie in emotion with affection. And I think that emotion and affection are different, but they do intertwine with each other sometimes. Because I feel like affection is when you like hugging somebody and kissing somebody and all over them and touchy-feely, like, or you're being affectionate. And, you know, sometimes that ties in with emotions, because when you're hugging someone and touching them, you might be saying, I miss you, I love you so much, you mean everything to me, while you're being affectionate. And I feel like that's a form of emotion. And I honestly feel like all that stuff is important. I think in relationships mostly, I think that stuff is really, really important. And other relationships, like friendships and stuff, I don't know how y'all give it up. I don't want to be all, oh my God, I love you so much. Like always touchy-feely. I had friends like that was mad touchy-feely. Like those type of people that's mad touchy-feely are like when you talking, like even when I watch like interviews and stuff, and like the celebrities are like touching the person when they talk, like, no, listen, let me tell you, and they be touching them, or they be touching their leg. Like, you know those type of people when they talk, they gotta touch. Like, I'm weird with that. Unless I know you for mad long, like, I don't mind, but it depends. Sometimes it throws you off when they do the first touch. Sometimes when I get into my zone too, I might get a little touchy-feely. Like, not like touchy-feely, like, girl, let me tell you what happened. Like, sometimes I get like that. So, I don't really know. I don't really know how that goes. Like, yeah, I've been drinking tea because actually when I do the podcast now, it messes with my vocal cords. Like, literally after I do a podcast, it hurts. So I heard you gotta drink like tea and stuff. And I remember Wendy Williams, she used to drink tea on her thing. I'm like, okay. I never thought nothing of it, but yeah. Water's good too, but I'm here for the tea. I'm drinking chamomile. I'm on a chamomile kick. My friend Samara had bought me like a care package thing when some stuff happened. And it had chamomile tea in it, because chamomile, I hope I'm saying it right, chamomile tea is like good for calming and stuff, and like calming you down. It's good for mad stuff. I heard like healing inflammatory stuff. Yeah, do your research, because we on emotions. But yeah, so that's why I'm drinking tea now and not water. I might switch it up though, because I love water and I need water too. But yeah, I feel like you can people come emotionally unavailable, and it might be something because of what you did. And it's hard. This, like, me personally, when I'm in a relationship, I want the person to be emotional, not mad emotional. Like, because I can't take a overly emotional person too. Like, they just cry instantly. Can we tie emotion to with even, yeah, we can, people who are over angry, because anger is a form of emotion, right? Like, people, one bad thing happens and it changes their whole mood, their whole emotion. Those are considered emotional people. I think sometimes we only tie emotion in with sadness and love. No, anger is a form of emotion. Fear, anxiousness, those, like the way you react, those are forms of emotion. So I mean, I sometimes don't like an over emotional person, you know. Not when something sad happens. Like, I feel like when something happens, not even sad, just anything in general happens, I don't really like when people don't show emotion, like me personally. And I don't mean, no, it depends on the situation. Like, I think that's shaky. I think that's sus. Like, that's serious. Like, I think that's weird, but I know that some people are raised a certain way. And a lot of stuff does tie in with like family and religion, you know, especially in men. Men are taught from a very young age not to show emotion. When they hit their feet too hard, when they fall and they cut their knee, they're told not to cry, man up. So women, I feel, we often have to deal with unemotional men, which is exhausting. I think so. I want, when things happen, somebody rubbing my shoulder, or it's not even about that. That's showing affection. It's about, like, I want to see how you feel. Like, how do you feel? Like, I need to know, because this is a form of communication. Like, we're communicating with each other. Like, I need to know how you feel, like, for real, like, real talk. Like, but you don't want to express it because, or they don't want to express it because they feel like once they start talking, they're showing a sign of weakness. It also might make them cry, because you know how you start talking about stuff and it just start making you cry, or it start making you show emotion. So it's just like, I don't like that. I feel like a little emotion is always needed. Like, we all need to be a tad emotional, you know? Like, it's needed just a tad. Like, communicating how we feel, you know, and tears and anger and I don't know about aggression. Aggression is so aggressive, but sometimes you need that. Like, I'm upset, this happened, like, yeah, anger is a form of emotion, and I think that we all are scared of anger, but sometimes anger is indeed needed, you know. I think so. And in a relationship, if the person is being unemotional, is that a sign that they stepped out, meaning cheated? I don't think so. If they were emotional before and they used to express themselves to you before and they were expressive before, then they stopped, I don't think that means that they cheated all the time. I feel like if they were emotional before and they showed their true side and their tears or their heartache or whatever, and they notice that you don't pay them no mind or you be trying to bring them down, and then they stop being emotional, maybe that might be a sign they stepped out. I don't think, sometimes like stepping out is what's the word I'm thinking of, like, so that's a different episode. But I was gonna say, like, it might not mean they stepped out. Maybe they found a friend at work or somebody that they could talk to besides you, because when they start getting emotional with you, you kind of just acting like this shit is like cheese. Like, so they found a friend, a little buddy at work or wherever that listens and that communicates, and that when they say how they feel, that person is there, you know? So it could be that, I don't know. It's not a sure sign of it. Like, what, they're going and being emotional with somebody else. I don't know. And look, child, there's many different signs of cheating besides, you know, not showing, you know, a form of emotion and things like that. And when we think of being emotional, can you ever really be in a relationship with somebody who's emotionally detached? Or maybe I should say, should you be in a relationship with somebody who's emotionally detached? Because people who get in relationships with people who are not emotional every day, who are emotionally detached, especially with men. I don't care what nobody say, because I know how sometimes they're like, I know it's some women that's like that, and there are some women that are very much so like that. But I feel like, especially with men, like I said, because they grow up like that, I feel like oftentimes we're forced to be in those relationships. Like, we don't really have much options. Like, it's rare that you find it, especially, you know, in the black community, a mother or a father who's raising their son to cry when they hit their knee. Like, when's the last time, you know, I mean, I'm not around, or I am around people's kids, but I never seen them fall in front of me or something and see how the parent reacted. So I really wouldn't know. But our generation, I know as a millennial and beyond, before, I don't know how Gen Z parents was giving it up, but for the most part, when a guy falls, most of the men now that are my age group and, you know, under, they are taught not to show emotion. So a lot of us who are dating that are my age, I'm 28 going on 29, you're most likely dating someone who's emotionally detached, like most likely. So I feel like we're all in relationships with people like that. If you're in a relationship, for the most part, we do get into those type of relationships. Are females, can a female be? I think a female can be sometimes, you know, especially the black woman, because they tell us to, like, black women are so strong. And like I said there will be no strong slander in the last episode. There's nothing wrong with that word. I said I just think it's how you use it. You know, don't tell a black woman she's strong out of nowhere. Like, people just be dead ass just calling her strong, like, oh my god, you so strong, my strong black sister. Like don't call me that out of nowhere. Like, please stop. Like, I feel like you forcing this certain stigma on the black woman. Like, stop. Like, or like, we be going, like, we'll be like a single mother, and to be a single mother, it does take strength, but just like chill out. Like, it's about how you say stuff. Like a person could literally look at you and just see you like lifting up some bags and be like, my strong black sister. Like, stop. If you see a white woman lifting up mad bags, you're not gonna call her my strong white woman, this strong lady. Like, you're not gonna say that. Like, they always trying to correlate our pain and struggle, like, you know, like, they just, like, I just hate when people try to push something on us. But do the things that we go through really require strength? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like, I know for sure, like, every day, like, wow, I have to be so strong. But it's like we kind of don't want it pushed on us, because when you like push that ideology on us, it makes us feel like we always gotta be going through something, like the way it's portrayed, I should say. But because of that, you know, the strong black woman thing, we too sometimes as women have to be unemotional and feel like we can't be emotionally available sometimes. And we feel like we can't cry, you know. Like some women as a mother, they feel like they can't fry. Okay, you can't fry. They can't cry in front of their kids because they're the head honcho to their kids' eyes, and to show weakness and to show tears in front of the kids would scare them, and it probably would. But you know, some people look at these things, and some people, like for instance, when I was in therapy before, I talked about how like I never seen my parents argue or whatever, and she talked about how she feel like should couples argue in front of their kids mad aggressive, like suck my dick, da, 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 like none of that. Like, we're not doing that, but like a little baby argument, because it shows you like people argue and then the next day they could be cool. Not saying it's healthy, not saying y'all should be arguing every day. If you arguing every day with your spouse, that's getting a little bit toxic. When I say argue, I mean like real arguments, because sometimes every day it do be some bullshit, like I told you to put away the goddamn, I don't know, and you still ain't put that shit away every day. Like, some people is just the way they are. We could get into that. Like, there's so many episode ideas just jumping into me. But it's good for kids to see that healthy arguments, because life is full of, you know, disagreements. Like, we can't all agree on everything. We're all mad different. We all grew up different. We all look different. We all feel different. And sometimes if, you know, we can't handle it, we're going to handle it in a way where we show some emotion. And that emotion might be a little anger. Not anger, a little being assertive, a little assertiveness, and it might turn into an argument. And that's fine, I think. As long as it's a healthy argument. Like, I say that too, like, and I think I said that, I don't remember what episode we talked about with that, but yeah, definitely watch Britt Says all seasons. Like, I have the playlist in the description box below. But you know, I feel like there's healthy arguments and unhealthy arguments, right? Like, And, okay, I gotta be careful with arguments because when I'm thinking of stuff, I'm thinking of disagreements too. But I feel like if you're arguing in your relationship, to me, actually, believe it or not, in my opinion, I think an unhealthy argument, constant unhealthy argument, is telling your partner to be emotionally available. I think that's unhealthy. If I gotta tell you that all the fucking time, then what does it all really mean? Like, do you want to be in this relationship? Do you want to be emotionally available for me? Why am I having to ask that all the time? I feel like certain things come with a relationship, and that's showing some emotion. That's us tearing up over something, or you know, whatever. Like, I don't think like those things I should have to constantly ask. If you have an argument with somebody you're dating, you're telling them, please stop cheating on me, like, every day, that's obviously toxic. And that's not really, to me, something that should have to be argued or debatable or whatever the case may be. So, certain stuff, you know, shaky boots. Can you be friends with someone with no emotions? I feel like with friends, you could be friends with anybody that you really like. Like, sometimes with friends, it doesn't... it depends now that I think about it, because sometimes things happen and it's just like, I feel like if I had a friend that was like, if something like really bad happened and then they was just like, wow, okay, sorry about that, like, I don't know, like it would probably be weird, but some people are intricate. Like, I like, you know, me and intricate people and people with like different personalities, and I don't know. I feel like no emotion at all, maybe not. Like, I probably can't do that. No emotion at all, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just a friend you do like cool stuff with. But then you gotta remember, when I think of no emotion too, being happy is an emotion. That's just like Kanye West. Like, you know how like when you guys ever seen those clips of him like on social media where he's like smiles and then he go like, why you don't want to be happy? Like, why you don't want to show your emotion of happiness? Like, even some men be like that too. Like, they don't even want to show that they hype. Like, I don't mean to put people on blast. I'm putting people on blast because, you know, it is what it is. I remember like when I got pregnant and I told my parents, like, my mom was mad excited. And I was like, oh, daddy don't seem like excited. Like, is he mad that I'm pregnant? Like, I'm mad grown. I'm 85 years old. I could have a baby. Like, period. And then he was just like, I'm a man. I'm not going to react a certain way. But inside, I'm excited. If you excited, then show your emotion. Like, you can show excitement. Like, how does that diminish your masculinity? Like, I feel like men are so extra, like, showing excitement. And I remember too, when I told Femi, everybody know Femi is bae. He even, like, I told him that he sound happy, but he wasn't like going hard. He was like, I'm a man. Like, he said the same thing. And it's just like, y'all be overdoing stuff. Like, if you want to be excited, you could be excited. Like, being excited doesn't diminish your masculinity. Like, stop. I could see you be like, oh my God. Like, actually, like, I don't really feel like that is nothing wrong with showing excitement. How does excitement make you feel manless? Excitement? Like, do we know what excitement is? Like, exciting is like you're just happy, you're excited. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, this country, like, I just be feeling sorry for men. Like, I can't live like that. Like, I think about stuff like that. Like, men who are really, really, like, you know how it's different types. Like, it's the ones that's really, like, I don't know, their parents just beating their head. Like, was really, literally beating their ass. Like, you need to be a man. You better not cry. You better not show emotion. Literally tell them not to show emotion. Like, I couldn't live like that. That's a lot of bent up emotions. Like, you got excitement bent in you, anger bent in you, sadness. It's just like every emotion that exists is literally in your body because you didn't want to let it out because you wanted to be manly. That's fucking sick, bro. Like, think about that. Like, every time you want to do something, you gotta hold it in because you a man. That's why these motherfuckers is crazy. You gotta hide excitement. You gotta hide happiness. You can't smile in photos, bitch. And then I gotta date you and deal with your bullshit and teach you how to be emotional. Bitch, y'all better get into it. That's not insane. Like, think about that. And there's so many forms of emotion. Like, I feel like I keep touching on sadness, but like even stuff like that, like that's crazy to me. Like, that's insane. Like, some people like, oh, I don't want to get too excited. I don't want people to see me mad hype. Like, like, what are you talking about? I don't want to look too happy. Like, what are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? Like, that's too much. That's the other thing. That's why I really can't trust a person who's not too emotional, because I feel like you got too much bent up stuff inside of you that's mad shaky. Like, what the fuck gonna happen? Like, ugh. Then the moment they get excited, they start bugging out. Like, oh my god, I can't believe it! Ah! Like, throwing stuff. Like, you messing up the house, honey, because you so excited and you never showed excitement a day in your life. Now everything on the floor, bitch. You done smashed the fucking hole in the wall because you so excited and you never showed excitement a day in your life. Like, stop. Any form of emotion could come out reckless. People think that when you hold in sadness, that's the only one that could come out reckless. Now, all them shits could come out weird. If you think about it, like, even a person being overly happy could get weird. Like, why the fuck you been smiling for 2 hours? Like, your jaw don't hurt? Because they never knew how it felt to show happiness. Like, the devil's a liar, honey. I don't like that. I don't think that shit is cute at all. Is the personality trait of being emotionally detached fixable? Who, child? Like I said, you know, everything is a tad fixable. I feel like some people mad weird. Like, I feel like, all right, let's get into it. Because a lot of the real reason why men, it is because it diminishes their masculinity. They feel like being happy is gay or whatever the case may be. And some people, like, their parents bent into them that they can't even act like that remotely or be that way even a little bit. And it's really, like, instilled in their spirit. And sometimes I think people like that, it makes it not fixable. Like, I feel like there's so much stuff you have to reteach in order for it to be fixable. It's not about asking that person, like, please be emotional for me. It's about teaching them, like, look, if you show a certain emotion, it doesn't mean you're not a man. Like, you gotta literally educate them, and then you gotta tell them why. Like, think about it. It's just you being happy. Like, if they want to correlate it with gayness, like a man liking another man, you could just be like, do you like men? Like, and if you don't, how does you being happy make you gay? How does you being excited make you gay? How does you crying make you gay? A gay man likes another man. That's what requires you to be gay for your sexual orientation, not showing excitement. Like, it's, and you gotta really, like, teach them that, like, and say, do you notice that? Do you realize that? Like, literally, that's the requirement. And, like, you can't, like, the moment you show happiness or excitement or sadness, that's not the moment you're a gay man. Like, it's not. That's emotion. That's called emotion. Like, when you look up in a dictionary, it's a part of the human body. It's a part of our mental. Like, that's not the requirement to be gay. Yeah, that's not it. Like, literally, that's what we would have to teach a person. I think for a woman who's not emotional, okay, and we could get into that too. Sometimes people become unemotional because of things they've been through. Like, a girl could have been sexually assaulted up until she was, I don't know, let's say 16, right? So, you know, sometimes that type of stuff makes you emotionalist. Like, man, fuck life. Like, this shit ain't nothing. Like, I've been through a lot, so I don't even know what it's like to be sad. I cried so much, I ran out of tears. Or, like, things that might make the average person happy don't make them happy, because it's just like, I've been through so much. This shit is not like fulfilling. Life is not fulfilling to me. Like, certain shit is like, y'all motherfuckers is laughing. Like, this shit is not even a joke. Like, this shit is not even happiness. That one is hard to break. That's a do the work, go get therapy type of thing. Teaching somebody, like, you know, and it sucks. It sucks that you could get a relationship with somebody and love them so much, and have to really build them and mold them and grow them. And we also got to look at ourselves in the mirror too when I say stuff like that. Like, yeah, you might be building and molding your spouse or whomever, but they building and molding and growing your stupid ass too, because all of us is very flawed. And we might not be knowledgeable of the things that we are doing, or that person is doing to build us and mold us and grow us. Like, maybe these things are prepping you to be a mother or a father. Like, you're not even privy to that. Or to be a better, you know, daughter, or a better sibling, or whatever the case may be. You're not even privy to that. Like, sometimes, you know, we meet people and we gotta, like, build them up to be more emotionally available. And by you even doing that initiative, it's teaching you how to engage with people more, if that makes sense to me. Is there times where you don't need to show emotions? Look, with emotions, it's up to you. You can show emotions wherever and whenever you want. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Like, some people feel like if you out in public, you shouldn't show emotions or whatever. But if something just popped off, do it. Like, if it's gonna come out, it's gonna come out. And if people want to look at you like you crazy, at the end of the day, it's not a crime to cry. It's not a crime to be happy. It's not a crime to be overjoyed or to get excited in the street. It's literally not a crime. Like, you're not gonna go to jail. Like, they can't call the police on you because you literally just had a moment of excitement in the street. I mean, if you start doing some wild shit, maybe they could say, like, public disturbance. But if you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, technically, you could do that. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, it's not a crime to do those things. Like, maybe anger could get you in trouble if you show that emotion. Or not even, because you know how sometimes you ever been in the street and somebody on the phone arguing with somebody and they just start getting angry, and they like arguing with that person while they on the phone and they angry, and we just all like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I feel like, yeah, do what you want. As long as you ain't hurting nobody in the process, I feel like you can show emotion anytime, anywhere, any place. Sometimes you do need to control your emotions. I know that some of us might have heard that term, like, you know, control your emotions. Sometimes everything is not a means for you to get upset. That's a fact. That's a fact. Sometimes everything is not a means for you to start crying. In my opinion, yes. Sometimes, like, oh, I feel bad giving certain examples. I was working somewhere, and the girl, she was like a young manager, and she got upset because one of the employees stopped talking to her. And mind you, she's a manager. So then they had a meeting, and the girl was like, I just feel like it was unprofessional of you to tell somebody about, I think what had happened was, like, she called out for something like private, and the manager told another associate. All this shit is wild unprofessional. And then when the girl was saying that, she was like, I just felt like, because you know how like when you in that zone, like she was talking to the manager like, I just felt like what you did was not unprofessional, blah, 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 blah. And the manager started crying in front of the associate over that. So to me, that's an example of, I'm sorry, I feel like she shouldn't have cried in front of employee as a manager. Like, you her superior, like, why the fuck would you cry over that? Like, if you want to cry, sure, but do that when you get home. Like, certain stuff, like, you in a professional environment, like, so when the associate told me what happened, I wasn't a manager at the time when this incident happened. I was also associate. And when she told me that happened, like, so you, like, I was like, she cried? So you still respect her? Not, like, trying to bully it or fuck up the situation, but, like, why the fuck would she cry? Like, maybe she was having a bad day that day, but, like, those are times where you really got to control your emotions. Like, maybe if she was dealing with some shit at home, and it's just like, this shit happened this morning now. This bitch is screaming at me, and then maybe her boss said something to her, but those are times where you just got to just reel it the fuck in, like, for real. You could cry, but, bitch, you better go say, look, I need a 10, or before this meeting, or maybe, you know what, we can't do this meeting today. I'm not interested. Like, sometimes, for real, you do have to control your emotions. Like, somebody might get you upset. You might, like, for instance, you at a wedding. A wedding is an important occasion, right? For that couple. That ain't the time to be getting angry at somebody or getting mad at the groom or the bride or the bridesmaids or starting a fight. It's not the time. It really, realistically, is not the motherfucking time. Like, for real. Like, you need to control your emotions. Like, sometimes it really is a time and a place for everything. Like, for real. Like, yes, sometimes you need to not show emotion. For real. If you at church, well, you could catch the Holy Ghost, but you can't be in there about to fight. Oh my God, that's the lady. Like, certain stuff, like, for real. Like, you had a baby shower. It was Thanksgiving, you know, and Christmas. Families fight every day, B. But, yo, like, when's the last time we seen stuff like that? But anyway, maybe that's not the time to address a certain situation at a funeral. You know, sometimes the emotions are high at funerals and stuff, so. But it doesn't make certain things right. Sometimes, yeah, we really do need to control our emotions. Sometimes it's a time and a place for everything. Like, I feel like we need to prep ourselves. You know, and it's making me think, because, like, you know you fucked up right now. Realistically, should you have gone to work today? That's why sometimes if you need to call out. Should you have done this meeting? Sometimes certain stuff is mandatory, but I feel like you already know you're not feeling good. Call a friend, go to the bathroom, cry it out before the meeting. Say, yo, I'm having a bad, like, find some resources, read, look, watch a video, do something before you hit your brink. I've been at points, like, I hit my brink at work, you know, showing emotion. I mean, it happens. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but yeah, sometimes we do need to reel it. We really do. The emotions need to be reeled in for real. Like, real talk, that's serious. That's a big fact. I agree with that. I just thought about that because I'm thinking of times when people just be wilding, like the crying, the screaming, the anger. Like, it happens. I could see if you're getting upset about something that literally happened in your life, but to do that in certain situations, like, nah. Yeah, we gotta learn how to really control our emotions sometimes, for real. I really agree with that. But how do you deal with the unemotional? You know, I think it's all up to you. If you want to grow and build with somebody and you feel like you can help and you can help build them and grow them and help them be more emotional, then do that. I think you can build a relationship. If they're not willing to change, then maybe you can't, to be honest. Like, I feel like a lot of women do it every day. A lot of men as well do it every day. You know, and it works. I would have to see or really know. I have to be around somebody who's like 155% honest and they're willing to be like, sometimes I do, get sad. I mean, sometimes I do get sad that my husband is unemotional or whatever the case may be. And how does it impact them? I would like really, need to know. And how long does that relationship last? They have to have been together for really, 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 really long. And sometimes there's pros and cons, but is being not emotionally available a really big con? Like, sometimes you gotta outweigh your pros and your cons. But I just think dealing with an unemotional person, you just gotta say how you feel, see how they react, and just ask them, like, where is your headspace? I've dealt with like unemotional people, but after a while, when you really start talking to them about stuff and you become an open book and they feel like this person is trustworthy, sometimes it's a trust thing too. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody, right, if we are living in a world where we have toxic masculinity, right, maybe they feel like outside when they leave out the door they can't be emotional, but at least when they come home to you, they should feel comfortable being emotional, and you're not gonna make them feel like they're not masculine or they're not manly. You should at minimum be that woman, because there are some women out there that like when they men start crying like this shit is not cute, like relax, whatever. Like, it's really some women out there that like act like that. So you should at least be their safe space. That's just how I look at it. Or if you dealing with an emotional woman, because I really got to make sure I'm not being sexist sometimes, but I'll be right though, period. But if you want to deal with somebody that's you feel is emotionally unavailable, you need to create a safe space, and you need to let it be known that at minimum they could be whomever they want to be and show whatever emotion that they want around you. And that's just that on that. And yeah, so yes, this is episode 2 of season 4, and I enjoyed it. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys, if you're streaming, rate me 5 stars, leave a comment. Yeah, and stay tuned. I'll be here next week on Monday talking. We got good topics coming along. I'm so excited to close out the year with you guys. Get ready for the holidays. Get ready for everything. And I will see you guys next week.